If you are over 55 and you have ever felt that strange afternoon crash, that sudden wave of tiredness that hits you out of nowhere, or that shaky, foggy feeling before dinner, stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I am about to share could change the way you think about your blood sugar forever. Doctors and researchers have been quietly studying 3 minerals that your body uses every single day to help keep your blood sugar steady. And most people have never even heard their names mentioned by a doctor. Today, we are going to walk through exactly what they are, how they work inside your body, and what you can realistically do about them. And stick around, because the third mineral on this list is the one that surprises almost everyone, including people who have been managing their blood sugar for years. Before we go further, let's talk about why this matters so much, especially for those of us in our 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. As we age, our bodies naturally become a little less efficient at handling sugar from the food we eat. This is not a character flaw. It is not because you did something wrong. It is simply part of how the body changes over time. Muscle mass tends to decrease as we get older, and muscle is one of the main places where your body stores and uses sugar for energy. At the same time, many of us become a little less active than we once were. Our sleep patterns can shift, and stress from things like health worries, family responsibilities, or simply the busyness of life can quietly affect how our bodies process sugar. All of these small changes add up, and that is exactly why understanding the tools your body relies on, like these 3 minerals, can make such a meaningful difference. Now, you might be wondering why minerals. We hear so much about sugar, carbohydrates, and exercise when people talk about blood sugar, but minerals rarely get the spotlight. Here is the simple truth. Your body is like a finely tuned machine, and minerals act like the small but essential parts that keep that machine running smoothly. Without enough of the right minerals, even if you are eating well and staying active, your body may struggle to use insulin properly. Insulin, in case you have heard the term but are not totally sure what it means, is a hormone made by your pancreas. Think of insulin as a key that unlocks the doors of your cells so that sugar from your bloodstream can enter and be used for energy. When that key does not work as well as it should, sugar can build up in the blood instead of being used properly. This is where our 3 minerals come into the picture, because each one plays a specific and fascinating role in helping that key turn smoothly. Let's start with the first mineral. And this one might genuinely surprise you, because it is often associated with muscle cramps or sleep, not blood sugar. That mineral is magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 300 different processes in your body. That is not an exaggeration. That is simply how essential this mineral is. It helps your muscles relax. It supports your heart rhythm. It plays a role in bone strength. And importantly, for us today, it is deeply involved in how your body responds to insulin. Research has shown that people with consistently low magnesium levels tend to have a harder time keeping their blood sugar steady. Scientists believe this happens because magnesium helps the enzymes involved in insulin signaling do their job properly. Without enough magnesium, that insulin key we talked about earlier does not turn as smoothly, and sugar has a harder time getting from the bloodstream into the cells where it belongs. Here is where it gets even more interesting. Many older adults are unknowingly low in magnesium, and there are a few common reasons for this. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing magnesium from food. Certain commonly used medications, including some blood pressure medications and acid reflux medications, can also lower magnesium levels over time. And if your diet has shifted over the years to include more processed foods and fewer whole foods like leafy greens, nuts, and whole grains, your magnesium intake may have quietly dropped without you even realizing it. Let me paint a picture that might feel familiar. Imagine a woman named Carol, 68 years old, who has always considered herself relatively healthy. She eats reasonably well, she walks most mornings, but lately she has noticed her energy dipping in the afternoons, and her blood sugar readings have been creeping up slightly at her checkups. Her doctor ran some tests and gently mentioned that her magnesium levels were on the lower side. It was not something dramatic or alarming, but it was enough to be worth addressing. After incorporating more magnesium-rich foods into her meals, and after a conversation with her doctor about whether a supplement made sense for her specific situation, Carol noticed her energy leveling out more evenly throughout the day. This is not a miracle story, and everyone's body responds differently, but it illustrates how something as simple as a mineral deficiency can quietly affect how you feel day to day. So what can you actually do about magnesium? The good news is that many delicious everyday foods are naturally rich in it. Leafy green vegetables like spinach and Swiss chard are excellent sources. Nuts, particularly almonds and cashews, are another great option. Whole grains, black beans, and even a small square of dark chocolate can contribute to your magnesium intake. The key word here is balance. You do not need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Small, consistent additions of these foods over time can make a real difference. And if you ever wonder whether a magnesium supplement might be right for you, that is a conversation worth having directly with your doctor, since the right amount can vary quite a bit depending on your individual health, other medications you may be taking, and your kidney function. Now let's move to the second mineral, one that has quietly built up a fascinating body of research over the past few decades. This mineral is chromium. Chromium is what scientists call a trace mineral, meaning your body only needs it in very small amounts. But do not let that fool you into thinking it is unimportant. Chromium is believed to enhance the action of insulin, almost like it helps that insulin key fit more precisely into the lock on your cells. Some researchers describe chromium as working alongside insulin to improve what is sometimes called insulin sensitivity, which simply means how well your body responds to the insulin it produces. Here is an interesting piece of the puzzle. Some studies have looked specifically at chromium supplementation in people with insulin resistance, a condition where the body's cells do not respond to insulin as effectively as they should. In certain studies, participants who were given chromium showed improvements in specific blood sugar markers compared to those who did not receive it. Now it is important to be honest and balanced here. Not all studies have shown the same dramatic results, and researchers are still working to fully understand exactly who benefits most from chromium and by how much. This is a great example of the kind of emerging research we should stay curious about rather than treating it as a guaranteed fix for everyone. What might chromium deficiency look like in everyday life? It is not always obvious, which is part of what makes it tricky. Some researchers have noted that low chromium levels may be associated with difficulty managing blood sugar despite otherwise healthy habits. If you have ever felt like you are doing everything right, eating reasonably, staying active, yet your blood sugar numbers still seem stubborn, chromium could be one of several factors worth discussing with your healthcare provider. Where can you find chromium naturally? Broccoli is actually one of the richest natural sources of chromium, which might surprise you. Whole grain products, green beans, and even certain types of meat contain chromium as well. Because your body only needs small amounts, most people can get what they need through a varied, balanced diet. That said, if your doctor has concerns about your levels or your overall blood sugar management, they may discuss whether a supplement could be appropriate for your specific situation. As always, this is a decision best made together with a healthcare professional who knows your full medical history. Now, before we get to the third mineral, let's pause for a moment and talk about something that ties all of this together, because understanding the why behind these minerals makes the whole picture click into place. Your body operates like a finely balanced orchestra. Each mineral, each hormone, each system is like an instrument that needs to be in tune for the whole piece to sound right. When one instrument like magnesium or chromium is out of tune even slightly, it can throw off the harmony of the entire system. This is why doctors increasingly emphasize looking at the whole picture of a person's health rather than focusing on just one number like a single blood sugar reading. And this brings us to our third mineral, the one that tends to surprise people the most. The third mineral is zinc. When most people think of zinc, they think of immune health, maybe fighting off a cold. And yes, zinc is well known for supporting the immune system. But what many people do not realize is that zinc also plays a significant role in how your pancreas produces and stores insulin. In fact, insulin itself is stored in a specific structural form inside your pancreas. And zinc is a key part of that storage process. Without adequate zinc, the pancreas may have a harder time properly storing and releasing insulin when your body needs it. Beyond its role in insulin storage, zinc also appears to have antioxidant properties that may help protect the cells in your pancreas from a type of stress called oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress like slow, invisible wear and tear on your cells, similar to how metal can rust over time if it is not protected. Some researchers believe that by helping to reduce this kind of cellular wear and tear, zinc may support the long-term health of the very cells responsible for producing insulin in the first place. Here is a relatable scenario. Imagine a retired gentleman named Robert, 72 years old, who has noticed that wounds and minor cuts seem to take a little longer to heal than they used to. He also mentioned to his doctor that his blood sugar readings have been a bit inconsistent. Slower wound healing can sometimes be connected to blood sugar levels, and interestingly, zinc plays a role in both wound healing and blood sugar regulation. This does not mean everyone with slow healing wounds has a zinc issue, but it illustrates how these different threads in the body are often more connected than we realize. So how can you support healthy zinc levels? Foods like oysters are famously rich in zinc, but if seafood is not your thing, do not worry. Red meat, poultry, beans, nuts, and dairy products like yogurt and cheese also contain meaningful amounts of zinc. Pumpkin seeds are another wonderful easy to snack on source. As with magnesium and chromium, balance is key. Too much of any mineral, including zinc, is not necessarily better, and can actually cause its own problems, including interfering with the absorption of other important minerals, like copper. This is precisely why any decisions about supplementation should always be made in partnership with your doctor, who can look at your complete health picture and any blood work to guide you properly. Now that we have walked through all three minerals, magnesium, chromium, and zinc, let's talk about how these pieces fit together in real, practical life, because understanding the science is only half the journey. The other half is knowing what to actually do with this information. The first practical step is simple awareness. Many people go through years of checkups without ever having a conversation with their doctor specifically about magnesium, chromium, or zinc levels. That does not mean your doctor is doing anything wrong. It simply means these particular minerals are not always part of routine standard testing unless there is a specific reason to look into them. If you have been noticing symptoms like unusual fatigue, muscle cramps, slow healing, or blood sugar readings that seem stubborn despite your best efforts, it may be worth gently bringing up these three minerals at your next appointment. You might say something like, "I have been learning about magnesium, chromium, and zinc and their connection to blood sugar. Do you think it would be worth checking my levels?" Doctors generally appreciate when patients come in informed and curious, and this kind of question can open up a valuable conversation. The second practical step is thinking about your plate, not in an overwhelming way, but in a gentle, gradual way. You do not need to become a nutrition expert overnight or completely transform how you eat. Instead, think about small, sustainable additions. Could you add a handful of spinach to your morning eggs? Could you swap a processed snack for a small handful of almonds or pumpkin seeds? Could you include broccoli as a side dish a few times a week instead of just occasionally? These small, realistic changes done consistently over weeks and months tend to be far more sustainable and effective than dramatic diets that are hard to maintain. The third practical step involves being thoughtful about supplements. It can be tempting, especially after learning about something like this, to rush out and buy every supplement bottle with these mineral names on the label. But here is an important word of caution, and this comes from a place of genuine care for your well-being. More is not always better when it comes to minerals. Taking too much of certain minerals can actually cause harm, interact with medications you may already be taking, or throw off the balance of other nutrients in your body. This is especially true for people managing conditions like kidney disease, where mineral levels need to be very carefully monitored. This is precisely why any supplement decision should always involve a conversation with your doctor or pharmacist first. They can check for interactions with your current medications and help determine whether a supplement is appropriate, and if so, at what amount. Let's also take a moment to talk about lifestyle factors that support all three of these minerals working together effectively, because minerals do not operate in isolation. Regular movement, even something as simple as a daily walk, has been shown to improve how your body responds to insulin. You do not need to run marathons. A 20 or 30-minute walk most days can make a meaningful difference over time. Sleep is another, quiet but powerful factor. Poor sleep has been linked to changes in blood sugar regulation, and getting consistent quality sleep supports your body's overall hormonal balance, including how it manages insulin. And finally, managing stress in whatever way genuinely works for you, whether that is time in the garden, prayer, meditation, or simply spending time with people you love, can also play a meaningful role, since stress hormones can directly affect blood sugar levels. Now, here is something important that we need to be honest about, because trust matters more than anything else in a conversation like this. These three minerals, magnesium, chromium, and zinc, are not a cure. They are not a magic fix that will instantly solve blood sugar challenges on their own. What the research does suggest is that these minerals play meaningful supportive roles in how your body manages blood sugar, and that many people, especially as they age, may be running lower on these minerals than they realize. Addressing that gap through thoughtful diet choices and where appropriate medical guidance on supplementation is simply one more tool in a much bigger toolbox that includes movement, sleep, stress management, and of course, working closely with your healthcare team. If you are currently managing diabetes or prediabetes, or if you are taking any medications for blood sugar or blood pressure, please do not make any changes to your diet or start any new supplement without first talking to your doctor. This is not us being overly cautious for no reason. Some supplements can interact with medications in ways that are important for your doctor to know about and monitor. Your safety always comes first, and your doctor knows your complete medical history in a way that no video ever could. Let's take a moment now to recap everything we have covered today, because understanding the big picture helps all of these individual pieces stick in your memory. We started by talking about magnesium, a mineral involved in hundreds of processes in the body, including helping insulin work more effectively, and one that many older adults are quietly low in due to absorption changes and certain medications. We then explored chromium, a trace mineral that appears to enhance how insulin functions in the body, with promising though still developing research behind it. And finally, we uncovered zinc, a mineral that plays a surprising and vital role in how insulin is stored and released from the pancreas, while also helping protect those same cells from long-term wear and tear. Each of these minerals works quietly in the background of your body every single day, often without you ever thinking about them. But now that you know their names and their roles, you have a bit more insight into your own health, and hopefully a bit more empowerment to have informed conversations with your doctor and to make small, thoughtful choices in your daily life. Before we wrap up, I want to genuinely thank you for spending this time learning alongside me today. Health information can sometimes feel overwhelming or even a little frightening, but knowledge, real, balanced, honest knowledge, is one of the most empowering gifts you can give yourself, especially in this stage of life. You deserve to feel informed, supported, and confident when it comes to your health. So here's my question for you, and I would genuinely love to hear your answer in the comments below. Of these three minerals, magnesium, chromium, or zinc, which one surprised you the most today? Was it magnesium's connection to insulin, chromium's role in enhancing insulin sensitivity, or zinc's surprising job in storing and protecting insulin itself? I would also love to know if you feel comfortable sharing what part of the world you are watching from today and how old you are, since so many of you watching are wonderfully diverse in age and background, and it is always heartwarming to see just how far this community reaches. If today's video gave you even one small piece of useful information, please consider giving it a thumbs up, as it genuinely helps this channel reach more people just like you who are looking for honest, trustworthy health education. And if you have not already, consider subscribing, because we have so many more topics like this coming, always grounded in real research, always explained in a way that respects your time and your intelligence. Thank you again for being here today. Take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself as you make these small changes, and remember, every small step you take toward understanding your body is a step worth taking. I will see you in the next video.